Today we're going to be looking at analytic geometry. So now with analytic geometry, these are just a few formulas to look at. So first of all, this is like the distance of the line, the example of the distance. Let's say distance from point AB, so it will be AB squared. AB squared, that meaning the square of the whole AB, but it is written as just AB squared, is equals to y of b, right, minus y of a, the y coordinate of b minus the y coordinate of a squared plus the x coordinate of b minus the x coordinate of a squared. So as you can tell, within the bracket it is minus, and mind you that since here we start off with b, we'll start off with b this side again. And within the brackets, one thing I know is good to remember is within the brackets it is a minus sign, whereas outside the brackets the plus sign. Move on to the gradient. The gradient also, let's say gradient of MAB. So it's the y coordinate of b minus the y coordinate of a over the x coordinate of b minus the x coordinate of a. You could write this in a different way, as in like starting off with the y coordinate of a, right? But one thing you have to pay attention to is that, as you can tell here, it is over b. It starts off with a b, the y coordinate of b. That means also starts off with the x coordinate of b. So that's something to look at. Then the midpoint coordinates are like this. So with the midpoints, it's just midpoint of between the line AB would be the x coordinate of b plus the x coordinate of a over 2. Then the next coordinate is the x coordinate of y coordinate of b plus the y coordinate of a over 2, right? And then the equations, just looking at the line equations, it would be y is equals to mx plus c. Also has the other line equations, which are in like other chapters. So it's just like a simple line equation. This applies with many more chapters like trigonometry and Euclidean. It actually applies. So it's just a simple one, right? So basic functions, not trigonometry, but there are questions where just look at the line. And then this is like the coordinates of like going through the radius. So just like the formula of like the circle. Okay, let us like practice this. So looking at a few examples. So this is going to be the example. Determine the equation of the circle with the center being the right here. That's the midpoint, right? The center, obviously, it would be within the circle. Let's draw a circle here. So the center, we'll just call this M. Why is it M? Because a circle would have like a diameter, right? And the diameter is made of 2 radii, so that's why it's like the midpoint. Midpoint 31. Those are like the coordinates according to the Cartesian plane. And the radius is equals to 3, right? So determine the equation. So also looking at this right here, this equation of the radius, let's just write this. It is x minus x1 plus, right, y, minus y1 squared. They both have to be squared equals to r squared. Please don't forget that the squares, the having to be squared, squaring the brackets. So with that being said, it's time for us to substitute, right? It was x minus y minus, right? And here are the coordinates. Where there's x1, it just represents the x here. Y1 represents the y coordinate here. And this is 3. So with substitution, this would be x, right? Looking carefully at this sign, what I also used to remember these is that just remembering it's just minus, right, within the brackets, and then plus outside the brackets. So it's minus, and what is this number here? It is positive 3. So since it is minus, it's just minus 3, right? Um, Thinking of, okay, let's say this was negative 1, right? So since this is negative, okay, let's just let this one be. It's just plus 1. Squared plus then y minus, right? Minus this number here. This is plus 1, so it's minus plus 1. So negative minus a plus is negative. It's minus 1 squared equals to 3 squared, right? Sorry for the noise. So okay, let's start off with this side. X minus 3, right, squared plus y minus 1 squared equals to 9. So looking at these, this is how you find the coordinates of like the circle. This is the radius. So this right here is like the equation of the circle, which can help you find the coordinates. I'll just find a question which actually asks about that. So basically this is the answer of everything if you times in the brackets and then having to take the 9 and put it on this one side. Sorry for not calculating the whole thing, but this right here, this point is what's gonna count a lot in the future. But just if this questions come across, give the general equation, it will be here, but also being here is just correct. But we use this point mainly, but this is the general equation, as in the squares here, then it's x, then it's y, plus the unit.